So, this took a while to come out, didn't it? Welcome to the new updated version of the VR tutorial. This video is going to be completely unplanned. I'm writing the code on the spot. So there's probably going to be like a ton of errors. Sorry I didn't release part 2. Yeah, I recorded it. The audio got cut out, and oh, this is my code. Hold on, you're not supposed to see that. That's code that I can't really think of off of my head since it's fairly complicated, I guess. But so the VR tutorial, I recorded it part 2. It kind of sucked. And also, the audio got cut out like 15 minutes in, and it was 2 hours, and I did not want to re-record that. So, this tutorial is going to be like very basic VR, and then if I do make a second tutorial, then it's gonna be more going into the depth on the different kinds of things you can do with VR and how to do like a more physics-oriented VR game, or like how to do different kinds of movements and stuff like that. So this one is not going to require anything for you to go on like this one. Like, you don't need a model, or yeah, I'm still not posting the script in the comments, except for like the really long stuff, because that is, looking at it, I don't think that's really something that you can learn too much from. It's just a bunch of values. I am also going to try to explain everything that I do. So each line of like a new function, like if statements, for statements, I'm going to try to explain what I'm doing and how it works. But you should probably know what most of the stuff does. And then, let's see here. Don't be like this guy. I'm not gonna send the script. You can be like this guy. This was good. But, yeah. Thanks for 1,000 views. That's a lot of views. Alright, well, let's get into it. This is the game. I suggest you have open the Explorer, Properties, and Output. And if you aren't that confident with your coding, also open Script Analysis, which you can get through the View page. It just shows like errors and stuff in your code. Like, I don't know, misspellings or invalid arguments and stuff like that. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to press part 3 times, because you're gonna need 3 parts for the 3 different positions of the player. You're gonna have the head, and also all of these parts are gonna be 1 by 1 by 1. You can change the size through properties, or just change it with the scale tool. The scale also doesn't really matter. It's just kind of, yeah, I think it's better to have 1 by 1 by 1 as a basic foundation, because it's just easy to look at. And then I'm also gonna color these, like, I think this one will be the right hand. You can name it anything you want. Just don't name it something that's gonna be confusing to you if you look back on your code like 2 months later and you completely forgot about what it does. And then I'm gonna change this one to like a blue. That'll be the left hand, and the head will just stay this color. It doesn't really matter on the looks for this tutorial. So now that you have these 3 parts, what you're want to do is anchor them and turn off Can Collide. You can select all of them and do that all here. So make sure anchored is on and Can Collide is off. And then I'm gonna set the transparency to 0.25. This is all just like looks and stuff. Doesn't matter. Yeah, let's do 0.125. Okay. So now that you have this, you should group these all together. Oops, I forgot the right hand. And then rename the group to something that you'll remember. I'll go more into depth on how to do stuff differently. But for now, I'm just gonna call this starter character. And then I'm gonna put it in starter player. And pretty much what this does is now when you press play. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, make sure you boot up Roblox Studio with Oculus Link enabled. If you turn on Oculus Link after Roblox Studio is opened, it doesn't go into VR mode at all. But I'm gonna move to server view just so that I don't have to be in VR. But yeah, this Roblox spawns in whatever is named starter character under starter player and then gives it the name. It also adds in health and animate. That's where these errors come from. But if you don't want errors, I'll just tell you that later. It's not that important. It's not gonna break your entire game or anything. You could also just hold on, I'm gonna press play again. You could also just select those two, press copy, and then paste them into your starter character when the game is not being played, and then just delete all the code. This code is really simple. I never realized how simple the health code is. This is not as simple, but I'm deleting all that. So now, if you load in, there's no errors. So, oops, that's not what I wanted to show. You can exit out of the game by pressing Shift and F5 at the same time. So if your mouse is stuck and you can't press the pause button, you can always stop it like that. Okay, so this is it. This is the starter character. This code is going to only work on the local side, so for single player games and stuff, because we're only doing a local script. And on my previous VR tutorial, a very big problem was that I sent the positions to the server before setting the positions, so that if you have high ping, then you're gonna lag behind a lot, and it's gonna be really disorienting and stuff. So yet again, if I make a part 2, I'm gonna go in depth on how to fix that and do something, even though it's probably not the most optimized. Everything about this code is really unoptimized. So then we'll now just make a local script and starter character scripts. Call it, I don't know, whatever. I'm just gonna call it VR local because I'm probably gonna add a VR server eventually. So now now I'm gonna look at my old code. Hold on. because, yeah, I forgot. I forgot. Alright, let's see. Okay, you're gonna need to make a couple variables. If you don't know what a variable is, I suggest you learn how to code before you try to make a VR game. Just saying, VR is you have to do a lot of like specific things for VR to fine tune it to your game, and you can't really do that without knowing how to code and just following a tutorial. But yeah, I'm gonna add a note, which is dash or subtraction sign. That just makes it so you can type notes to organize your code without having those notes run as code and make errors. So I'm gonna call this variables, and I'm also gonna add dash at the end. That doesn't matter, it just looks nicer. No matter what, if you press enter, it goes back to normal. Unless you go like this and then delete these two, then it'll be a note until you add 2 brackets like that, and then it's back to normal. I don't know why I'm explaining notes so clearly when this is a VR tutorial, but okay, so first do local user input service. I usually make my variables very short because I don't like typing that much. So I'm gonna name it UIS, stands for user input service. Then equals game is like your entire game, colon get service. What get service does is I don't know exactly what it does. I just know that it's a lot better than doing like game.workspace or game.replicated storage. I think it loads it better. So you do game get service, and you can also get like, yeah, it just loads it better. Always do get service when you're trying to use a service like workspace or sorry for my background noise. Like if you're trying to get replicated storage or anything like that. So you type in user, I spelled that wrong, user input service. You can just press tab to autofill. And yeah, that's it for the variable. Variables. If you don't know this, I suggest you leave, but go watch Alvin blocks or something. But a variable just I don't know, it renames something so that instead of having to type out game get service user input service every single time, you can type out UIS and it means the same thing. Or you can change some, I don't have to go on in depth on this. So then local VR service, I'm doing VRS for short. Still game get service, all the same. Make sure you type VR service this time. And then local player, you can name it whatever you want. I usually type player like that. Equals yeah, for players, I'm gonna add a variable for game.players. Actually, no, I don't. I think simple things like game.workspace and game.players don't, like stuff like game.players that you're only really gonna use once. You don't really need to get service, but don't trust me on that. You should probably learn that from someone else. So player equals game.players.local player, and local player is just your current player, because local scripts are only being run on your computer. Oh, whoops, I forgot to turn off my Discord notifications. Okay, we're good. So Local character, I do char, like Charmander. If you're in starter character scripts, then the character should be script.parent, but I don't think that's a very reliable way to get the character. Sometimes loading can be wrong and stuff, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Script.parent. If you didn't know, typing in script just gets like this object. It's like typing in, I don't know, game.workspace. Or game.starterplayer.starterCharacterScripts.vrLocal. It just gets the script as like an object or an instance. So then, let's see what else. Oh yeah, I'm gonna add this with the services. You're gonna need replicated storage. Probably. You're gonna need it for later on. It's always good to have variables for the main services anyways. So do get service replicated storage. Okay, so then what you're gonna need, I don't think you really need anything else. Now I'm gonna add another note saying VR code, because now we're making the VR code. Everything past this point is going to be code for VR. There's going to be nothing that isn't VR. So this code just doesn't run if VR is not enabled. And to check if VR is enabled, you do if VR service .VR enabled equals true, then press enter. It creates an end, pretty much what an if statement does. If what's between if and then is true, then it runs what's between the statement and end. But if it doesn't, then it doesn't run the code unless you do an else. You should also probably know what an if statement is. But yeah. So then we're gonna print just for developer stuff. So then I'm just gonna do player.name ... If you didn't know ... after like a string or anything really, if you do ... and then a quote, it pretty much, well, you'll see. I'm gonna type has joined in VR. So now if I press play, I don't have to put on my headset. It's just gonna load into VR anyways. Okay, perfect. It says Epic Gamui 59 has joined in VR. So the ... just adds what's before it to what's after it in terms of strings. Even if I did, like, it doesn't have to be a string that you add on. It could be like a number like 1. Well, obviously you can't type 1. It has to be a variable because typing numbers is weird, I think. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna just, yeah. So now what you wanna, oh, I gotta add another service. Sorry, I'm just looking at old code, and my old code is horrible. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna add a service for starter GUI. I think. Hold on, I gotta look something up. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so I have no idea. So we're just gonna hope this works. So what you're gonna do is make a service that is starter GUI. I'm calling it SG for obvious reasons, and then, you know, get service, starter GUI, all that. So this, you might not want to do this, but I think it's very recommended for any VR game ever. So you're gonna do starter GUI :set core, in parentheses, do a quote, VR laser pointer mode 0. What that does is, when you're in VR, there's like a blue laser that comes out of your controller for some reason. That just turns it off. If you don't want to turn it off, you can just delete this line. Okay, and then do that same thing again, set core, except this time instead of VR laser pointer mode, you do VR enable controller models and false. And what that does, it turns off controller models, even though Roblox doesn't have controller models as far as I know. If you do that, the controller models will probably still be disabled in the future if they add controller models to VR. So now what you're gonna do is do VR service, recenter user head CFrame, and that just makes sure that they're not like, sometimes when you join in VR, you're not like in the right spot, so this just puts them in, or it makes where they are standing currently the center of them, if you get what I'm trying to say. So then what you do, next what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to add a variable. You can add that up here or down there, it doesn't really matter. Call it camera or something along those lines. I call it cam because that's not as long. So set that equal to game.workspace.current camera. That'll be needed later. Then also make a new variable, HeadScale equals 1. Pretty much the HeadScale is like the scale. If you set it to smaller, I believe you will be smaller in the game, and if you set it to like something like 20, then you'll be 20 times bigger. I think it might be the opposite way around. I haven't really played with HeadScale that much. So next, what you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to do cam. Actually, we can do that in VR. So you're gonna do cam dot HeadScale equals HeadScale. That's important, I think. So then, I don't know why I have a wait there. And in my code, there's a wait. I hope that's not needed. Okay, so next you're gonna want to make a new note. Well, you don't have to. I just like organizing my code because my previous code is very unorganized. But make a new note, call it controllers. Now, in the VR tutorial, I called it hand tracking, but that's not really true. It's more like controller tracking, except it's not really tracking. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I'll find out. It'll be in the title, probably, or something. I'll find out what to call it. So then you do VR service user CFrame changed connect function input. So what this will do, whenever your hand move, like one of your controller moves or your head moves or rotates, it'll run this function, and then the input is like all the details about the thing. So then I'm gonna look something up again. I'll be back. Okay, so forget that I said input. Instead you're gonna do you're gonna do type, comma, oh, never mind, type is a thing already. You're gonna do, I don't know, it doesn't really matter, I'm just gonna call it thing. I'll think of a better name later, and then CFrame. So now what you're gonna do is I can see why I did this in my old code. You're gonna do local RightHandCFrame equals VR service get user CFrame and dot user CFrame dot right hand. So it may seem counterintuitive because this function, the thing, is what's changing and the CFrame is the CFrame, and what this does is it gets the CFrame, but it's not counterintuitive because well, I don't really have a good reason why you should do this, but like if you don't do it, then you're gonna have to like do an if statement to see if thing equals right hand CFrame or thing equals left hand CFrame or head CFrame and etc. And then you're gonna have to run a line of code every single time. So instead doing this with this this line, you're gonna have to copy this twice. With this line, it just makes it so you can change all of them at once and not worry about what's changing. And it doesn't break anything because if it's not moving, then it's just gonna stay still. But you're pretty much always moving when you're in VR. I think that a slight shake in the controller is gonna make it move. So yeah, I'm gonna change this to left hand CFrame and head CFrame, and then change this to left hand, change this to head. Oh, I forgot the parenthesis here. Oops. That's why script analysis is helpful. So then you're gonna have to do a bunch of math. I'm just gonna copy this over. There's a bit too much here. I'm gonna delete this part. I don't think you really need this. Okay, so I'm gonna change the name because the name is kind of dumb. We're gonna call it RightHandMathified. That's a better name. Okay, now I'm gonna read through all this and try to explain what it does. So it takes the camera position and then multiplies that by the right hand's position minus the head's position, which is the same as the camera position, hopefully. And that's going to multiply it by HeadScale, and then multiplied, it just gives it orientation as well. I know what this does. I can't really explain how, but what it does is it makes sure that the let me think, hold on. Okay, so I don't know how to explain the bugs in previous code, but there was like a ton of bugs about like if you move in real life then the hands move away and the hands aren't like in the right position and stuff like that. So this just fixes all of that. So next what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to copy the next line from the description. I'm not gonna make you do this. I'm just gonna explain it. I'm gonna rename this too. It'll be already named in the description if I remember to put it in the description. So I'm gonna call that LeftHandMathified. I'm not giving you the head code because that's the most complicated one and I want you to understand it properly. So here it is. Local head mathified equals camera.CFrame. That's it. Okay, so yeah, now what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to add code. You're also gonna hold on. We're gonna add something up here. We're gonna do local right hand equals char wait for child right hand. Just name that whatever you name this and then copy this left hand do it again for the head head, yep. Okay, and then now what you're gonna want to do, oh yeah, you do wait for child so that like if it's not loaded yet it waits for it to be loaded, because if it's not loaded then something went wrong. So anyways, what you're gonna want to do now is you're gonna do RightHandCFrame equals RightHandMathified, and then do that again for LeftHandCFrame. No, that's not CFrame. CFrame equals LeftHandMathified, and head.CFrame equals headMathified. So now that should be the controllers all done. Hopefully it's not broken. We'll find out later. And then now what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to make a new note because we're moving on to something different, and that's the camera. So you're gonna call that camera. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna do run service. Oh wait, no, that's replicated storage. Never mind. Add a new variable. Don't call it the same as another variable that breaks it. I'm just gonna call it run equals game get service run service. To me, if something that's used a ton has more than 3 letters in its variable name, it's a failure. So anyways, do run that render stepped, which actually, yeah, no, that's good. Run.render stepped. Render stepped, it runs every frame before the game is rendered. So like, it runs the code and then the game gets rendered. Rendering is like, look, so look, it's rendering right now. It's rendering this every frame. So before rendering, what's changing every frame, it does this code. So you do connect function. You don't need to put anything inside the parentheses. I don't think it even has anything you can put inside. Oh, nope, you can, but I don't know what it means. So next, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to copy this from the controllers to here, because you don't need that there. Then also, in my old code, there's 3 variables that are all head CFrame. That's funny. Let's see, what's the head CFrame that's used? Okay, we're good. So then you're gonna do Cam.CFrame equals CFrame.new. Right, I'm gonna, in part 2, I'm gonna do movement and stuff. I am going to just put the player in the center plus like 5 up or something. So I'm just gonna do 0, 5, 0. I'll go more into depth on what that does actually. So then you're gonna do times CFrame.new HeadScale.Position.x. Oh no. I don't think you have to do that. I think you just can do HeadScale.Position. I don't know why I did code like that. So then times CFrame.Angles ToEulerAnglesXYZ. I don't know if I'm gonna have you type this out or not. I mean, it's not that long. Oh, you do need head CFrame here, my fault. You move head CFrame back there. But this is short enough to be typed out. But I just checked the description if it's there anyways. Okay, so now, what this does is it sets the camera's position to 0, or to the middle of the world, and then 5 up so that they're not like, hold on. Okay, fixed. You can delete that spawn location too, I think. No, don't delete that. keep the spawn location set it to 0, 0, 0. Or, yeah, move it down. Also, find what offset is best. This is the offset. I'll write a note. Offset. That doesn't. Never mind. I won't write a note. But yeah, this first one is the offset. For me, I found that 5 or 6 is good. But you should just find what's best for your game, and then it multiplies that by the head position. So if you move in real life, you're not staying at 0, 0. You're moving like, say you move one stud in real life, the position would be 1, 6, 0. Yeah. And then it just adds in the thing. So yeah, I think this is it. I'm gonna move into VR, and then we'll bug fix. So I'll see you in VR. Okay, we're in VR now. I'm currently in the Rift S home. You can't see what I see, but I'm gonna press play, and then I should be loading into VR now. What do you know? There's a slight error, but the controllers are. Oh, I bet there's an error with the camera code, but the controllers are moving and good. Just they're not good. Oh, I think I might know what the error is. Let's see. Did I do this code? I didn't. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna look at my computer screen while in VR. It's crazy topic. Or crazy idea. Okay. So you need to add before head CFrame or after, doesn't matter. You need to excuse me, headset, I did not want you to turn off. Okay, you need to add Cam.headLocked equals false. I always get confused on which one is true and which one is false. And then do cam dot camera type equals enum dot camera type dot scriptable. Okay, now that should fix the code. I'm gonna try and test it again. Just press play. Okay, let's see if this works. Hey, it worked. The blocks are a bit big, but they're like you can adjust scale and stuff. They're smooth. I think the head is here. I can't tell. I can't see my own head. Oh yeah, look. If you look at the shadow, you can see that the head is also moving. So look, if I move, I get offsetted in game. I think 6 is a bit high. But yeah, 6 is definitely way too high. Overall, this is it. This is a VR code. This is VR. Yeah. Go have fun. Go make something in VR. Go make a game. Maybe I'll teach you the different kinds of things you can do with VR. Okay, I will see you guys. Actually, hold on. I will see you guys. That's it. I'm ending the video. There's no bye.